All right. So I got a brief synopsis. You have a little dog that you're fostering that isn't jiving with the big dog or dogs.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
How many dogs are in the house?
So there's a total of three. I have two. One's a female and she is 6. One's a male and he is 3. And then the little one that I'm fostering is 2.
Okay. And the little one is 2. And she is currently going through heat, right?
Yes. So I've totally kept them separated because like she's just a little wild child right now.
Right, right. Okay. Now, I guess first explain to me what your experiences were as far as her going after or acting intolerant towards the other dogs.
So whenever they would come up to her to like smell her, so say she's on my lap, right? I'm holding her and just letting the dogs come over and like, see her, see what this little thing is that's been in the kitchen and everything like that. They would come over and sniff her, and you could tell like right away she would stiffen up and get a little like, nervous. But then after a while, she would say like a couple of seconds later, she would start to growl and like basically tell them to get off her. And then it would set them off, like them going not really after her because they don't look like they want to bite her or anything like that, but they don't appreciate her doing that to them, like snipping at them or, not letting them smell her.
Okay. How long was she with you when the first posturing on her part began?
So I've had her now probably 6 to 7 weeks. And I really probably didn't let them do any like interaction until like 2 weeks because I could see like she was really nervous. So I have a gate that separates my kitchen from my living area. So we would keep them separated. Now they always run to the gate to each other and they sniff through the gate and they're nice to each other through the gate. But that's about it. Like I said, she just doesn't want to be sniffed. Now she does have a huge hernia, like under her back leg. So I'm like, maybe she doesn't want them to go next to that. I don't know.
Okay. So was there any, let's call it communication right now? Was there any of that communication when she was on your lap? Did that ever occur in other situations? Or was it
Like,
only on your lap?
well, they'll go outside together. They go out so they'll go outside, huh? Okay, so come. They'll go outside together in the backyard and they'll be fine, like roaming around together to go to the bathroom and stuff. But once they come in the house, it's a whole different story. So they're okay in the backyard together and they'll like sniff each other. They do like this little like playing kind of thing, like freezing. But then they come in the house and it's just, she's not okay. She's okay outside, but not in the house.
Okay, so what other incidents or scenarios was she not okay? You mentioned the one on your lap. What other things? Like was it in the living room, the kitchen, near food bowls, away from food bowls? Were there humans involved or not involved?
Most of the so like most of it is like either she's on our lap or we're holding her, and because we've yet to like really like leave like a lot of time for them to be like together in the house. So like we'll hold her and sit with her and then let the dogs come up and smell her and stuff and let her smell them because she'll like, like she turns towards them. But have they really like in the house, have we like had them together? Not really, because every time we have her in our laps or in our arms, because the big dogs will try to jump up and also try to smell her when we're holding her. And she just doesn't like to be smelled. I like it's as soon as they go to smell her is when she gets like upset. But
So
we really haven't put her down, like, because I'm honestly, I don't know if it's my own fear that I'm putting on the dogs, but I'm afraid for her because of the way she acts towards them, that I don't want them to hurt her.
Oh yeah, and I mean just because of the size difference, obviously, you know, I get that part of it. So is it fair to say that when there's no humans involved, they're fine with each other?
She has her moments. Like,
Oh, this is my sister.
Hello, nice to meet you.
so we've put Bentley and her in the kitchen together by themselves on the floor. They don't seem to have much of an issue when it's them two. They've been outside together, they come in the kitchen together, but we have, when we do that, we kind of block off the bigger girl, Sweet Pea. She's the oldest. But there has been an incident, like, so they were outside using the bathroom, Sweet Pea was on the deck, Bentley would give a bark, but nothing was going on. They were just in the backyard, and Sweet Pea would look, but no, like, she didn't move anywhere, she didn't do anything. But they have spent time together in the kitchen, so to speak, by themselves. Her and Sweet Pea haven't really been, I guess, by themselves. Again, you know, the biggest fear is Sweet Pea's like 75 pounds and she's 15.
Right, yeah.
That'd be a flat.
Yeah.
But she hasn't, like, I've never seen Sweet Pea like go to bite her or do anything like that. Never. But the little one does, like, she's gotten better with the sniffing. Like this morning, for instance, she did good for about, I'd say like 7 or 8 minutes. And then like the last sniff just must have pissed her off. And she gave a little growl out.
Okay.
But
So
she has,
what's that?
she has her moments.
Right. So it seems that it's only when you guys are holding her then, or she's on your lap. That's where I'm going with this. Like you, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong. That's not my point. I'm just trying to isolate when specifically this happens and when the likelihood of her growling occurs.
Yeah.
We're holding her.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
I don't think we've ever had her bite, like.
Okay, and that's fine. I mean, it is. You know, when I have little ones, if I get like a little Foster, or so even if I pull a cat off the streets or something, I know my guys are probably going to be okay. But we're human, so we we want to be protective, right? So I understand that part of it. So it could be layered in that she is feeling her oats a little bit the longer she's there, right? So, and the flip side of that is she could be resource guarding, because we can be resources much like a raw meaty bone. So it could be a couple of different things. That's why I was trying to isolate when she acts this way. And at face value, I mean, if you guys look back at it, can you think at any point in any of these interactions, could any of the dogs have bitten each other if they really wanted to?
Yes, I say that all the time.
Yeah, the answer is almost always yes. But growling makes us uncomfortable because it's associated with the action that follows the growl, right?
Yeah.
So we need to figure out how the dogs are going to communicate with each other. So when she ultimately, because it seems like at first she's like, okay, this is not bad, but okay, screw it, get the hell away. That's what I'm feeling from you guys. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and it's also like, so my female Sweet Pea, when she goes to smell her, it's like you could tell she's trying to tell her that she's the dominant one, because she's like humping the air.
Yeah.
And like she's like letting her know. And then when she does that whole growling thing, Sweet Pea will stand her ground, and then she starts barking. So we'll stand up with the little dog, and now she's barking at the little dog, not growling, but it's like I almost want to say, like, she's telling her, like, no, I am the one who is in control, and you're gonna let me do what I want to do.
Right. And then what happens is we stand up and elevate the little one, and your dog probably barks more intensely, I'm guessing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Because
I get freaked out again. I'm like,
right. So you're literally right. But in Sweet Pea's defense, right? Mm-hmm. The little dog is, because you're just standing up, but in her mind, the little dog is like, oh yeah, screw you. Yeah. But all you're doing is standing up, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So it sucks that there's some discomfort, right, relationship wise. But the flip side of this is that they're just communicating. right? And I'm not saying that you put the little one on the floor now and just let him have at it and figure it out. That's not what I mean, especially because she's in heat. So we do have to be careful. We also have to be careful. Same-sex conflict, regardless of the breeds of dog involved, is very common, which is probably why you're noticing a more relaxed state of mind in the little one around your male than around your female, right? They don't call them bitches for nothing, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, I mean, at this point, you know, you do have a couple of options. Obviously, I don't know the dogs that are involved. You could probably, once the little one recovers a little bit. Oh, I lost you.
Nope, I'm back. Sorry.
You know, I mean, how long ago did she go into heat?
It's going on 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks.
Because she was like the first week, maybe a little bit longer than a week, and that kind of just tapered off, and now she just humps the shit out of me.
Yeah. So yeah, and then you got what do you have to wait 30 days before she's spayed? Is that what the vet's recommending?
6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, that long. Okay, gotcha. All right, because I think her insides are going to be all inflamed. So
yeah.
Well, once you feel her heat cycle is over, only because she's intact and she's coming off a heat, there's normally things I suggest that I'm not even going to entertain right now because of the hormonal variables, if you will, you know what I mean? But I would definitely say, because you have a road ahead with her getting spayed and stuff, I'm guessing you guys are going to be fostering her throughout this.
Yes.
So that kind of takes precedent over the dogs jiving in the house. Okay.
Yeah.
So currently, can they be outside together, even in her heat state?
Yeah, they were outside this morning, today. I mean, I'm out there with them. I don't leave themselves.
Okay.
Again, they were all fine. Nobody was doing anything wrong. They were still sniffing. And like her new thing now is like, so they'll sniff her and she sniffs them and they kind of run in a circle. So they're all together, but she tends to play freeze tag with the male. Like he'll sniff her and she stops like this, and then she'll sniff him, and he's sketchy anyway. So he jumps at the drop of a hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's perpetuate that, because that's something that's working. So let's have that continue, because that will help their relationship. You have the whole gate setup thing in the house. So that's another way that they could interact with one another. Okay. You cannot hold her when they're interacting.
Okay.
Okay. Because that's adding variables to the equation that, you know, we can guess that it could just be she might be a little uncomfortable, but because our actions are going to dictate their reactions to each other, we don't want to be a variable that impacts their relationship adversely. Does that make sense? On top of the fact, I'm not a fan of having dogs on our laps to begin with. I call it foofy dog syndrome. You know, when I see that, I have this vision of this little 4-pound Chihuahua terrorizing a house full of pit bulls. Like that's,
yeah.
You know, and you know, it's funny because they're little, but you know, we are, like I said, we can be resources, and we can be high value resources, just as high value as like a raw meaty bone, right? So we don't know if that's what's causing her to reach a peak level of, okay, I've had enough. Now I need to communicate you to back off, right? And then everything else ensues. She growls to try and back the other dog up. The other dog might bark. You stand up, which is basically again saying, "Oh yeah, hell no," right? So now these two dogs are communicating. All you did was stand up, right? So for now, I would avoid having us as a potential resource that she might feel the need to guard, and instead focus more on the areas in their relationship that are going well right now. You know, once she's spayed, it's probably a better time if you wanted to do work inside the house. So I'm not sure if you are fostering or fostering to adopt, or.
Well, we're fostering, but like this one here, like she kind of fell in love with the dog. So it's up, you know, it's still kind of up in the air. Like we really need them to like get along if we're ever going to like think of like longer than fostering.
Okay. So, and again, this is not right or wrong. I'm just trying to gather information. So there's a possibility you may adopt her.
Yes.
Okay. now I feel even more strongly about focusing on the things that are currently working, and then we can work on the interior of the home. Okay. And here's the thing, and obviously we can read dogs and we can pretty much see where they are here and now, but they're animals. And I mean, a lot like humans, sometimes we can't predict future behavior.
Yeah.
Right. I could tell you this, if there was aggression, somebody got bit already.
Well, yes. And that's what I say all the time, because I say if they wanted her, they would have already gotten her, because
And vice versa.
yeah. And they sit at the gate and like they stare at her while she's in the kitchen. She stares at them. Like, they're not trying to get at her. They're not like jumping on the gate. They're not like, foaming at the mouth. They're just sitting there like looking and barking.
Yeah.
She also she'll come up here and their food is down, and like their food and water, and she drinks out of it, and they don't even do anything. They just, look at her and they're like, okay,
So you leave food down all the time?
in the kitchen, like that's where the big dog's stuff is. So when she comes up in the kitchen, she just helps herself to it, and they could see her doing it, and they just look at her and they bark.
No aggression, no nothing.
Nothing. They're just okay.
So I always like to add "yet" to that statement, right? Because remember, if we're a resource, so is food.
Yeah.
And although there haven't been issues yet, again, eliminating variables that could potentially cause conflict is the best way for us to achieve some interior of the house balance, so to speak. Getting your dogs on a food schedule is healthier anyway. And it sounds like your dog, like the resident dogs, they're just good dogs. Like, you don't have any issues with them, right? So,
No.
which, when you add a dog to the household, even if they got along great and you and I never spoke, leaving food down it's just another variable that presents an opportunity for conflict to arise. Water's okay generally. Water, there's you keep the water bowl full, they'll probably all drink out of the bowl at the same time. The problem is that if your dogs are used to eating one way and this new dog is coming in, right? When they're in close proximity like that with high value resources involved, things can escalate, right? And maybe it would have happened already, I don't know, but we've always stood up when things started to heat up, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know if they would have ever worked through it or if it would have escalated. We don't know which way it would have went, right? So the same holds true for food. So I would suggest, and again, because now you're thinking adoption is a possibility, let's start making those changes now as opposed to later. Then you adopt her, and because here's what sucks is if there was like food guarding or something and she nips one of your dogs, they might get a little nick on their lip, right? If one of your dogs simply nips her, we're talking it could be serious injury, right? Which is why I share your concern, right? Because of the size difference. It could be the same type of bite and the same communication behind the bite, but because of the size and the force, the damage is a lot different. So I would just say for now, if you can, get your dogs on a schedule, or if they're going to be allowed in the kitchen at points of the day, make sure you pick all food items up off the floor and just have water readily available.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like they eat almost all their food because they'll get we give it to them 2 times a day, morning and evening time. They usually eat most of their food. Like the other two, they share a food plate and they share water. They don't we try to put them in separate bowls. They don't do that. They eat from the same bowl. It's just, it's so annoying because it would be a lot easier if they would do it separately, but they don't. But they mostly eat all their food. So but we'll make sure we'll pick it up if they leave anything behind.
So, okay. So that makes your life a lot easier if they usually eat most of their food when you feed them. Because if they leave some left, and I'm sure they're not starving, I'm sure that they're very healthy, right? So it's not like a few morsels of food is gonna, make them starve, right?
Exactly. They'll go over and pick up maybe the leftovers, whichever on the floor and stuff.
Never really a full bowl or anything.
Yeah. And, I not to be redundant, but you have a male and a female sharing things right now. It is much if you had the little one and the little one was a male, you still run the similar risk of having same-sex conflict, right? It's not just because you have two females in the house. same-sex conflict is same-sex conflict, right? So again, you're adding that variable to the food variable to, you know, so for now, right? Just like I said, we haven't had issues yet. Everything that we're doing is for now, not forever, right?
Yep.
Just for now, because who knows? I mean, you know, let's fast forward 4 months, you know, maybe they're cuddling on the bed together, all three of them, right? We don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Right. So again, for now, let's focus on the things that are good for their relationship, because we're still helping them build and maintain whatever the good parts about their relationship is. We're kind of avoiding the lap holding stuff for now, especially because she's gonna, you know, and then she's gonna get spayed. So then it's not just hormonal changes. Now she's gonna be recovering from anesthesia. She's gonna be in pain. Like there's other things that are potential variables once she gets spayed. So you know, again, it might be a little superficial, but keep doing the good stuff. Let's minimize the variables that could cause, let's call it communication conflict, right? Because it's not physical conflict.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.